So no one told you life was gonna be this way.
If you did not clap after that, we have a problem. So friends, we all know it. It's literally one of the most iconic sitcoms of all time. It made 6 actors into absolute megastars as they channeled 10 years of hilarious, dramatic, emotional, heartwarming moments that still make the show relevant to this very day. A show where it revolved around 6 friends living in New York and trying to find their footing in life while they're in the midst of reaching their 30s.
Welcome to the real world. It sucks. You're gonna love it.
There's Joey, who plays the stereotypical too dumb for brains character that pursues acting and being a ladies' man.
Would you put that back on? Monica's gonna be here any minute.
But it hurts my Joey's apple.
Ross is the intelligent but very emotional and jealous character due to the trauma that came from his first wife cheating on him. Chandler, who's the very comedic but sarcastic character who uses his humor as a coping mechanism for his traumatic childhood that he faced with his neglectful family going through a divorce. Phoebe was always the quirky, unfiltered, and free-spirited musician character that deflects her own traumatic childhood of her mom taking her own life, even being homeless, but she still keeps a positive light that keeps her energy going. She literally has the most traumatic backstory out of the entire show, and yet she's still the most positive out of the whole group. Rachel started out being daddy's little spoiled rich girl up until she was convinced to start a new life where she was independent and focused on her career on fashion. And lastly, we have Monica, who is always the smart, competitive chef that always goes above and beyond on what she needs to do, and that just comes from her passionate energy. But her competitiveness to be better can always come from her insecurities, as she's always been neglected by her parents due to their barely even hiding her favoritism for her brother Ross. With the final season of Friends ending off with Phoebe getting married to Ant-Man, Ross and Rachel getting back together for the millionth time even when they're too toxic and are completely polar opposites together, and Monica and Chandler being married and having twins together, deciding to move out of their apartment and move into a quiet suburban area. And all that was left was Joey, who barely got anything. The last season started with him getting together with Rachel, but that didn't work out as well, as they saw more benefit in them just being. But like I mentioned, that was all just in the beginning of the last series, and that was just kind of it, which you feel would be such a disservice to his character. But then you just throw $30 million right in his face and say, wow, let's end this story with a spin-off. Hola, hola, my name is Nando, and for today's video we're going to be looking at the Friends spin-off TV show known as So before the final season of Friends, the entire cast were all approached about an opportunity to do a spin-off show of Friends, trying to capitalize on the money that Friends was making, but every single member of the cast declined the offer as they just wanted to move on and do different things. All that said no, except for Matt LeBlanc, who plays Joey, and that's what led to the TV show known as Joey, with the main plot of Joey leaving New York to go to Los Angeles in the hopes of finding better opportunities in the acting world. But especially he needs to find his big break because he's only known for his big role as Dr. Draco Mori from Days of Our Lives. Now let's look at the new characters of the show. We have Gina, who plays Joey's sister, who can best be described as the overly confident, unfiltered, loudmouth personality. She's quite confrontational to anyone when things seem off to her, plus she went through a really troubled life as she had her son Michael when she was just only 14 years old, and she was smoking while still pregnant with him, and was apparently taken to a camp when she saw the movie Wild Things, which is said to be an erotic thriller. So there's that. She's quite a protective mother to her son named Michael, but we'll get to him just now. Now Gina, for me, I think was one of those characters that I just really couldn't gel with, and I think it's mostly because she was always selfish and always got away with it. In episode 1, her son Michael wanted to move in with Joey and live his own life, but Gina was against that idea at first because, you know, it's understandable, she's a protective mother. But when she was confronted again about it, it led her to understand that her little boy has grown up and had to be on his own. But then she's in his house the next episode, then the episode after that, then the episode she's always there. In episode 2, Joey wanted to take Micah out to a bar to help him be more confident in talking to women. But when Gina stepped in and invited herself, Michael politely asked if he could just go with Joey on his own. So Gina heard that and then called the bar to kick them out. Gina admits she did that because she's afraid Michael will remove her from his life, which is quite understandable from a mother's perspective, but then it leads to Michael accepting Gina being around his life more, which defeats the entire purpose of the first episode. Michael wanted to be on his own, but yet he is kept around by the grips of his mother's hands at all times. Because, spoiler, Michael is like the least developed character in the show. She constantly allows herself into Joey's home, which is a given because sitcoms will always have the main house that the main characters randomly all want to visit to. But for Gina's case, it literally causes her to burn Joey's house down. And guess what? She suffered no repercussions for it. They kind of just swept that story up the rug, even when they were building to Joey moving into his new home. She also seems to be a mad girlfriend, and she's always seemed to be dating around Joey's circle, and that causes Joey's friends to distance him all the time.
Why can't we share him?
Because that never works. Every time you get involved with one of my friends, you ruin it. Either you break up with him and he doesn't want to be with me anymore, or he breaks up with you and you scare him away. That's why I had to quit the football team, the baseball team. I ended up having to do theater. Oh, so thanks.
There's Jimmy, who was Joey's best friend that ghosted him after he broke up with Gina, and the fact that he broke their pact about not dating each other's sisters. When Joey got an assistant named Glenn, Glenn immediately went out with Gina, but that's when his work as an assistant started to slack. Mostly because Gina was influencing Glenn to spend more time with her. And Joey would be upset by all this, but Gina would argue that she genuinely likes Glenn, mostly because he's one of the rare guys that actually treats her right. He's actually nice and a gentleman, and Gina wants someone like that. Up until a few episodes later where Gina breaks up with Glenn because he was too much of a polite nice guy, and we never hear from Glenn again. So there's that. And I think the worst part about her character is the way that the writers portray her, mostly towards the fact that she's just thrown with the most degrading comments about her looks.
Oh, and by the way, told him I had him when I was 22. I don't want him to think his mother's a tramp. This is gonna be great, Michael. There are lots of cute girls here. Ooh, except for her, what a tramp.
That's a mirror, Gina.
Damn it, that is me.
Oh, nothing. Just the phone number of that girl I was talking to. I was hoping to get a little more into the phone number tonight. She's got more self-esteem than that outfit would suggest.
Oh, ma'am, I'm sorry, but we're not reading for the part of angry prostitute till tomorrow.
Those jokes were never funny to me, it just made me feel more... because the material thrown at her are just harsh and demeaning. A very low-hanging fruit of material just being thrown at her here. Now back to Michael, who I've mentioned is Gina's son, and he plays the stereotypical smart kid who is said to be smart but doesn't really say anything smart. He just says bigger words that confuses Joey, and he gets mocked for it. He's basically the punching bag of the show. Anytime the show wanted to throw jokes, they just mostly did it at Michael's expense. Mostly for the fact that the group finds Michael to be weak and incapable of dating a woman.
Let me guess. Your mom showed you how to do a push-up, didn't she?
Yeah, that's right, bitch.
The second part being quite understandable because he's known to be quite fearful and nervous when he's around them. But when women do find him attractive, he usually blows them off because he never sees the signs that they're interested in him. And since he's a big freaking nerd, you wanna know who's his nerd friend on the show? Well, it's none other than the dude who's going to play a nerd for 12 years of his life on a TV show in 3 years' time. This was pre-Howard, but here he is known to be Seth. They're like frenemies on the show, always trying to be better than one another, but Michael really doesn't do anything major with these friends as they only get shown for 3 episodes out of the entire series. This is basically the Melissa character. Watch the iCarly video if you can, just to understand what I'm talking about, but in short, they're basically just the child of one of the main characters, but don't serve an actual purpose in life, so besides just hanging out with people double their age. And his mindset with women has completely changed, as from the start he believed that women should be given the utmost respect and treatment, but when you hang around with a playboy for way too long, you'll see how the habits change. When he dated one of Joey's script advisors named Abby, where Michael was learning to be a vegan and looking after the environment just like her. But Joey believes that this is all a bunch of nonsense and Michael's just doing it to sleep with her. While Michael would double down and defend that he is actually committed to doing this. But as soon as Abby takes his virginity, the glass closet reveals itself and that Michael was really not that interested at all and just wanted to sleep with her.
Did you?
We did. It was. Did she?
Does it matter?
Which is an unfortunate turn of events for him, as he's now relegated to just being a nerdy version of Joey. Then there's Alex, who is Joey's next door neighbor and can be seen as your typical simple nice girl that is just there to be the main character's love interest. But honestly, she's one of the main highlights of the show. She's sweet and she's quite hilarious throughout the whole show.
Molly and I share a passion for the night sky.
Oh, how nice. Michael and I share a passion for sex in public.
Her relationship with Gina in season 1 has Gina constantly intimidating Alex the whole time because she's easy to mess with. And she becomes really close friends with Joey, while Joey will try to make advances on her even while knowing that she's married.
I don't do anything wrong. I'm kind of a good girl.
I wonder if Mr. Alex would tell me the same thing. Maybe I wait a few days before making sex jokes with you.
And maybe don't even do it then.
Okay.
So some girl shows up and you just assume you've hooked up with her?
Well, it happens a lot. It's kind of hard to keep track. We haven't.
No!
You are missing out.
Season 1 focuses on her being a married woman but having a husband named Eric who works in orchestra, meaning he's constantly traveling away from home. And this really takes a toll on Alex's mental health as she's constantly lonely all the time. And there's a scene where it suggests that there's more to it than her husband just leaving her all the time.
She is gonna make a lasagna. Yeah, Eric's back in town tonight, so I'm gonna make it for him.
All right, your husband. Yeah, say when you're ready. I got some questions about why he's away so much.
Yeah, okay, I'm not ready.
But quite frankly, they just don't play into that for some reason. But I think it's quite obvious for what he does. Like, come on. Just look at it. What do you see? To you guys, he could just be some ordinary man. But to me, I know he's trying to kill a Flash! That's right, he's the reverse Flash. He's been missing throughout the entire show, leaving his wife because he's in another timeline where he stole someone's body and is trying to get back home. He's a murderer and an evil man! Alex, leave his ass right now! And all this builds to Alex asking for a divorce as they've been away for way too long and that she's lost feelings for him and finds everything he does as the most irritating thing imaginable. But even while they're going through a divorce, it's still stated by Alex that they're trying to work on their marriage. But that's only until Eric was seen kissing another woman. And that idea on working on their marriage dropped dead. We also have Howie, who is Joey's other neighbor, and he plays the desperate and obsessed character as he's always constantly trying to be friends with Joey. No matter what he does, it always gets neglected as Joey and everyone else finds him to be odd. But yet they still use him to their liking. Which is quite sad because Howie seems like a cheery guy that has potential to be such a funny character, and I would believe the actor playing it would do that, and I would believe that he's a funny guy, but the writers gave him this really annoying and obsessed character. We also have Jimmy, who's known to be quite the angry hothead as his temper rises whenever he merely gets annoyed by something and feels the need to be confrontational. But what he doesn't know is that he also has a long lost brother named Eddie that was introduced in Friends, with both characters having the same trait of having zero temper when it comes to any minor inconvenience. He's also revealed to be Michael's father, which would probably change the trajectory of how Michael would usually be treated by Jimmy, going from
I've really missed you, man.
And look, if I gave you some signal that made you think that I wanted this, I'm sorry.
now to
First, I'd like to toast the best man.
Wow, Jimmy. I don't know what to say.
Maybe you don't say anything.
yeah, it's basically the same. But I do believe he's like the third or fourth funniest character in the show. And his relationship with Gina is just, it's still the same. They're absolutely horrible together, but they both can resist the lust that they have for each other. So they just keep dating throughout the whole show and even getting married in the show's finale, even when they both try to run away from their own wedding. They are truly meant to be together. We also have Zach, who Joey met on set as an extra, and he basically tries to get connections in the hopes that he makes it big time in Hollywood. And he has such good chemistry with Joey, and you can be convinced that they're best friends, but he's barely given TV time and he gets canned off the show 5 episodes before the finale, as they mostly just focused on Jimmy and Joey being best friends even when they're polar opposites and have nothing in common. Which is crazy ironic because that's the same issue that Chandler faced with Eddie. And lastly, we have Bobby, who is Joey's agent and is one of the best characters in the whole show. Her sassiness carries this. Her sassy attitude is what Gina is trying to be, but it's actually good. She's known to be quite the forward person as she knows how to put down Joey's ego when he feels that he's a bigger actor than what he actually is. And her unfiltered comments support that throughout the entire show.
The only thing bigger than this would be, I don't know, like making my Oscar speech.
Oscar, did you get tasered too? I know how to deal with crazy actors. You just smile and tell them what they want to hear.
Okay, you think you can help me?
Absolutely. God, I could slap a diaper on you and nurse you right now.
Hey everyone, this is my agent Bobby.
Hello, everyone. I just watched your last scene. Wow, you're all so lucky to have work. Some crazy people at work think I have a drinking problem. I can't go to the bathroom without them staging an intervention. And it's killing me, because that's where I do most of my drinking. First of all, I'm a respectable woman, and I would never be sexually aggressive with a young man. And second, which one's mother are you?
Michael's.
Oh, he's the best one.
I know you're a big shot, and you probably think I should be afraid of you, but if you ever bother him again, I cannot be responsible for what happens to you.
What do you mean you never got your ticket? Then who has it?
Surprise!
Oh, and quite notably, she also has a long-lost sister named Amanda from Friends. The only thing that really takes her back from her character is her really weird and creepy obsession with Michael. Like, even though they are both adults, her intentions still feel very predatory.
Your agent? She did call.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. She called me her little chicken nugget, then made a bunch of slurping noises. Oh, hi, I'm Michael.
How do you feel about full frontal nudity?
I'm not an actor.
Oh, yes, I know. Well, you're filling out nicely. Couple more months and you'll be ready.
Like, get this woman away from him, please! And lastly, there's Joey, who, even though the show was written by different creators, the writers of the show still came from people who wrote majority of the Friends episodes. And he's everything that I've already described. Joey is still Joey, he's still playing the idiotic character, he still has a childlike enthusiasm to things, he's still the ladies' man, but in this show it really details on how his movie crew just hates being around him because of how much of an ego he has, which is honestly quite the most realistic part about actors. So with all the characters named, what is the real story going on into the show? Well, season 1 mostly focuses on Joey's career and trying to get his next big thing since Days of Our Lives, because he's quite literally being called washed up as an actor because he hasn't found a big show yet.
Nerd.
Washed up soap actor.
Well, he makes snap judgments about people, and he saw you as this out-of-work actor who sits in the jacuzzi all day and plays with toys.
They're not toys, they're heroes, but...
Which is honestly so realistic to see a character who plays as an actor. You'll see so many of those downfall of celebrity videos, and it's just they did a show that they were popular in and they haven't found a breakout show since, and it's made to believe that they're this failure of an actor even though they still find work and are still fairly rich. But season 1 comes to a close when Joey meets the new neighbor named Sarah, who's a photographer that he ends up finding a lot of interest in, but she gels with Joey's personality so easily, even allowing Joey to go out with other women because she knows that's his lifestyle. But seeing Sarah going out with other men made Joey feel really jealous and actually admit that he has feelings for her, to which Sarah feels the same way and they got together. And Sarah's such a good girlfriend that Joey actually commits to cutting all of his side woman out, which yes, that is the bare minimum, but for Joey's case that is big character development for him. But things took a turn for the worse as Sarah noted that she needs a job, so Joey asked his agent Bobby to hook her up with one, to which she did, but it's a job that's in Washington DC and she would have to leave Joey. Joey was just too shocked and freaked out in the thought of letting Sarah go, so he makes the crazy offer and having them move in together, even though they've been together for just a few weeks. They try it out, but they both knew that they weren't ready to go this fast into the relationship, so Sarah had to move out without Joey even knowing. This left Joey heartbroken, but he couldn't feel that way for too long as he had to give closure to Alex, who's still struggling to move on from her husband. So Joey does what he believes can really heal up the wounds. Alcohol! But both got so drunk that Alex's emotions got the best of her and started kissing Joey. This then transitioned into season 2 where they've slept together and Alex was quite upset about it, feeling as though she's now become nothing more than just another woman that Joey has slept with. So Joey wanted to make it up to her by having a proper date with her so that she doesn't feel like she's degraded herself. And Joey really did went above and beyond to make a perfect romantic date for them. It meant so much to her in fact that it accidentally got her to catch feelings for Joey, which doesn't add up to Alex because she's been outspoken on how Joey's not the kind of guy that she would go for.
So that's your pretend date from the rooftop, huh?
Oh, you're telling people? Oh, that's fun. I told my therapist. We were laughing so hard about it, he had to cancel his next appointment because I wouldn't leave his office.
But her feelings are reluctant in wanting to be with Joey, so when Alex expresses those feelings to Joey, it immediately drags them into potentially sleeping together again. Which again is a really weird thing to do when Alex was against and wanted to have a proper relationship, but you know, whatever. But things slowed down once Gina let it slip that Alex is actually in love with him. So Joey, feeling freaked out and not wanting to lose Alex in his life, he stops the foreplay and decides to play it cool so that the tensions would drop. And this would leave Alex to feel even worse about herself, as she was so desperate to get Joey that even throwing her body at him got her nowhere. And this goes into such a depressive season for her, because afterwards Alex would meet Joey's new neighbor from his new home named Dean. And this was before Gina burnt it down. And he's a wealthy guy with an ego that makes himself feel like he's untouchable, constantly hitting on Alex when she's not even interested, and even kissing her without her consenting to it.
Oh my God, what are you doing?
I don't know, that's the way I usually deal with pretty girls who got the yaps.
So even with all of that and Dean truly showing his character, Alex still ends up getting together with him. He has done nothing but made her uncomfortable, kissed her without her consent, and still managed to get with her. What?
He doesn't deserve her. All he thinks about is sex, you know, going from girl to girl to girl to girl. He's a total pig.
You know you just described yourself, right?
But he's old.
And this is what started Joey to start having feelings for Alex, because he realizes on how much he cares for her, and he does nothing but try his best to break Alex and Dean apart. But Dean's enjoying this relationship so much that he wants to marry her, so Joey had to step in and confess his feelings for Alex. And this confession, the marriage proposal, was becoming too much for Alex, and this conflict caused their relationship to split and not work out. But Joey doesn't care, because game is game. But Alex is again unsure because of everything, and especially with Joey's lifestyle with women, but Joey persists and wants to give their relationship a go. But when he gets interviewed, he gets confronted by most of his one-night stands that he stood up and ghosted after, which understandably upsets Alex, and it doesn't make her believe that they have a good chance of having a good relationship due to his history. And while her worries are valid, like, Joey, I know this is gonna sound weird, but he's not really a bad boyfriend. In Friends, Joey really liked Phoebe's sister Ursula up until she lost interest and ghosted him. There was Kathy, who he had a fairly normal relationship with, but it stopped due to Kathy cheating on him with his best friend Chandler. There was Charlie, a fairly normal relationship, but it ended because Charlie realized on how little she and Joey have in common. Every relationship Joey has had has never involved him either cheating or losing interest. He stays with one woman and commits to it that way, and it's kind of weird that it's never addressed. And remember everything I said about Alex, or at least you pretended to. But TLDR, she wants a proper relationship, doesn't want to just be another woman in Joey's list, and wants a full committed loving relationship. And I kid you not, as soon as Joey and Alex get together, Alex becomes more of a sex fiend than him. I'm not even kidding. Their first episode together, Alex does nothing but try to persuade Joey into sleeping together at a constant rate. It's so bad to the fact that Joey has to be the one that has to pause the foreplay because he wants to try and build a better connection with her. Are we seeing how dumb this is? You've already set up on how much Alex wants a real relationship and not just be nothing more than a lustful object. But now this relationship has been nothing but lust to her. But then this gets really depressive in the final episode, where the gang are planning Gina and Jimmy's wedding, as Joey freaks out that Alex might potentially have the wedding fever again. It's kind of a weird full circle moment, because I'm reviewing yet another spin-off show of a very iconic sitcom where the boyfriend is worried that their girlfriend is getting wedding fever. Really weird. But it turns out that Alex feels the mere opposite of that, even loathing the idea of getting married, even believing that Joey would head for the hills and run away from her if she even had a thought of getting married.
Oh, please. You're only saying that because I said no. I know you. You always want what you can't have.
That's not true.
You can't have this piece of broccoli.
But that's the one I wanted. You are unbelievable. I told you how much Glenn means to me.
Well, I like him too.
Oh, you don't like him. You just want to be with him because I told you not to.
But Joey would defend himself and claim that she's wrong to believe that. So when Joey persists Alex on the wedding topic again, she would then dare him to marry her. So Joey blindly agreed to prove her wrong, but he completely choked in just a few seconds.
I knew you would back down. I told you, you only want what you can't have.
That's not true. I ate the rest of the broccoli, and none of them was as good as the piece you took.
But Joey would later admit that he does want to marry Alex one day, it's just not right now, to which Alex would understand. But like, This relationship still doesn't sit well with me. Maybe it's because Alex hates being lonely, but it's quite depressing to see how far down her standards have become. Like, she dated Dean even though she was previously uncomfortable and disgusted by the way he was constantly talking to her like she was just a body. Then having feelings with Joey, but knowing that she shouldn't be with him because he's not the kind of man that Alex would want in a relationship. But then she goes to date Joey and basically drops all hope of a future that she's always wanted just so she can be with Joey. This doesn't feel like a healthy relationship. Like, it's not something that should have happened on the show. And in hindsight, watching the show made me realize Joey really didn't need an ending from Friends. Everyone had an ambition or a story where they wanted to have love or a married life, but Joey, he was just in it for the vibes. Joey was living the ladies' man life, so there was no real pursuit for him into wanting a real relationship. He's an actor and most actors want to be in movies, and he did that. Maybe the one thing Friends missed out on was giving Joey an award for his efforts as an actor, but you know, he only got that in a spin-off. Not everyone needs these big, happy, glorified endings. Some people are just perfectly content and happy with where they are in life. Joey was quite comfortable in the career that he was having and the friends that he loves, and while everyone else was chasing for the next chapter. So the spin-off was not really necessary. And for anyone curious, out of this entire show, the Friends TV show only really gets 3 actual references. Just 3.
I think I like LA.
I thought you and Chandler should have moved out a long time ago. It's a very vibrant gay scene.
Chandler and I are not a gay couple.
I can help you with the women.
Whoa, 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 whoa. I'm actually handling that, all right? I'm kind of his teacher in that area.
That must be a pretty involved course. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing?
Worked on every one of your friends. Nobody understands wanting things to stay the same like I do. I was happy in New York, okay? And I tried really hard to keep things from changing, but everyone else got married and had kids and moved on. They all changed.
But have you told her that you love her?
I mean, I've only said that to a woman once before, and it blew up in my face. We were living together. She was pregnant with my best friend's baby, and she ended up with him.
Yeah, that did blow up in your face.
They do have decorations from the Friends set like Hugsy, who was Joey's stuffed penguin, and what looks to be a really blurry image of Joey and Chandler. But overall, after 2 seasons, the show got cancelled due to bad ratings, and honestly, I don't think it was a show that really resonated with anyone. Even with me, it's just a standard sitcom, which should not be the kind of quality that you should be writing for a spin-off of a well-praised sitcom. And you can tell that they're trying to bury the show from its canon. It's not really on any streaming platforms, and not a mention of the show was brought up in the Friends reunion. On the Friends YouTube channel, they've uploaded all the Joey episodes, but it's freaking region-based. And Matt LeBlanc's only compliments to the show was 1, he ended up dating the actress who plays Alex named Andrea Anders, and secondly, and best of all, he hopes to make another $30 million failure. Like the video if you enjoyed and subscribe because we're on the road to 190 subscribers. And until next time,